Hello dear friends, we will now continue our discussion with reference to the two of the types of banks, namely cooperative bank and regional rural bank. First let us discuss with reference to cooperative banks, and in this topic cooperative banks we need to discuss what it means, how to define the cooperative bank, and how cooperative bank is different from a commercial bank, and what are the features of a cooperative bank, and what are the aims and objectives of cooperative bank, and then we'll have to come to the main topic, that is what is the cooperative banking structure that we find in India. That we find in India the structure is primary cooperative bank, then district or the cooperative banking structure in India we find is primary, a cooperative bank, or it can also be called, let me get you the other name. It is agricultural cooperative bank or primary agricultural, cooperative bank as such. Primary credit societies, right? It may be either rural credit society or agricultural credit society. We call it as cooperative banking structure in India. Primary credit societies at the base, okay? Primary credit society at the base, the central or district cooperative bank at the district level, and the state or apex cooperative bank at the state level, right? That is the structure that we find in India. And while explaining each one of them, like primary credit society or primary cooperative bank that we find at the root level, at the base level, while explaining central or primary or state cooperative bank, we need to explain about the fund. That's how we expand. We need to explain about the fund. We need to explain about the management, we need to explain about its functions. What are the functions of each one of those? And lastly, appraisal. Appraisal means how it is grown. Cooperative banks, when did it start in India and how it is growing? Regional rural bank, what is its, how it started in India. Who sourced the regional rural bank inception? That's what we need to, refer to. But all that, even regional rural bank we are going to discuss, One is introduction. What necessitated the government of India to pass regional rural bank ordinance in the year 1975, which later replaced by Regional Rural Bank Act of 1976. It's a 20-point economic program, one of the agenda in India to establish a regional rural bank. But what is that regional rural bank? How it functions, with what force, etc. Objectives, star capital, funds management, control over the regional bank and progress and its problems. We will refer to that quickly. Okay. Now we will refer to the meaning first. Cooperative bank. See, it is a democratic setup. I will get you in the words of Henry Wolff. In the words of Henry Wolff, cooperative banking is an agency. Cooperative banking is an agency which is in a position to deal with the common man, a small man, on his own terms, accepting the security whatever he has, and without drawing on the protection of the rich. This is one. What is cooperative banking? Cooperative banking, they say it is an agency which is in a position to deal with the common man, a small man, and on his own terms, without drawing, by accepting whatever the security he has and without drawing on the protection of the rich. So therefore, a common man will never have any, any intervention. A common man will not be intervened by a rich person, because it is common man's institution only formed at the base level. They have different structure, the strata or hierarchy. We can find the 3-tier setup in India, as I have mentioned here. But this cooperative bank is formed by the people, for the people, by the people, for the people, to the people. It is a democratic setup. That is why Henry Wolff has defined the cooperative bank in that, structure. A cooperative society is an agency which is in a position to deal with the common man or a small man on his own terms, with with whatever security, whatever he has. Why we are referring to the security? No, if at all the cooperative bank is there, it would lend. Lending is not possible without subjecting the lending to security. No, whether it is a cooperative bank, whether it is agricultural bank, any bank, whether loan lent is gone, no, loan lent should be ensured of repayment. Therefore, it should be secured. But here in this cooperative bank, the security of the borrower is not much. he is not given that much emphasis. It means to say that, Mr. Common Man, I will give you the loan. And I will give you the loan on your own terms. Is it 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 years? I will give you the loan on your own terms. 1, 2. I will give you the loan on the basis of security. What is security? You have watch, you have got some silver, whatever you have, whether it is house, whether it is this, that, etc. You will not be unduly dragged. You understand? And there will be no question of influence of the rich over you. Without drawing any, without drawing on the protection of the rich, you are taken care of, your credit needs, on your own terms, and by making whatever property, movable or immovable, you understand, by whatever property you have, basing that as a security, we will give on your own terms loan. Therefore, it is an agency to deal with the common man on his own term, without drawing the protection of the rich, and by subjecting whatever security he has. So, cooperative bank, it is Henry Wolf. But let us go to another definition given by Divine. How he defined divine? A mutual society. Cooperative society, a cooperative bank is a mutual society formed, composed, governed. Cooperative society is a mutual society formed, composed and governed by the working people themselves for encouraging regular saving and granting small credits on easy terms of interest and payment. Again, by perusal to these two definitions, I will repeat the second definition Divine defines. Divine has defined a mutual society formed, composed and governed by the working people themselves for the purpose of acceptance of deposits and granting of small loans on easy terms of interest and payment. On easy terms of interest and payment. You can see now, a mutual society, mutual means your own areas. A mutual society, by agreement you have formed to meet your needs. A mutual society formed by you, composed of you people only, and governed by you people only. What for? For the purpose of encouraging regular savings. In other words, for the purpose of encouraging deposits. For the purpose of encouraging regular savings and granting of a small credit, on terms of on easy terms of interest and repayment. Once again, without drawing the protection of the rich, without going for the rigid enforcement of all banking provisions. We are a bank formed by ourselves, correct? We will pay a rate of interest for your savings that you deposit with us into your account, and we will also we are a cooperative bank. It is mutual cooperation. I'll come to that. Therefore, we will also extend the loan facility on easy terms of interest and repayment. Remember, let me also put it for your information. A cooperative bank would give you more interest on your deposit than the commercial bank. A cooperative bank would give you loan at lesser rate of interest. Look at this. Normally, modern banks, the commercial bank or scheduled banks, what they do now? They will pay less to your deposit and they will charge more to your borrowings. But what cooperative bank will do? They will pay more to your deposit and they will charge less to your, less to their lending to you. And usually they are lending for what purpose? I think all of you, while discussing the commercial bank, we have seen priority to the neglected sector. Neglected sector are agriculturists, small entrepreneurs, small scale business holders, then educated youth, unemployed youth, then craftsmen, then whatever that village or semi-urban area, you have got occasions, and those occasions to either to commence or to continue, you need financial support. But we are neglected by the commercial bank. Don't worry. In your area, you have got your own cooperative bank. It is a mutual society formed by you people only, governed by you people only, managed by you people only, for the purpose of encouraging regular savings and for the purpose of granting small loans on easy terms of interest and repayment, as we have seen. Therefore, when that cooperative bank is there, whatever needs of yours will be easily fulfilled by your own bank. Thereby, you will ensure our own cooperative bank that we have formed in our locality is helping our own economic growth. Understand? Normally, cooperative banks at the base level means at the rural level or small town level. When you find rural level or small town level, when they are able to be encouraged by giving the credit facility, then no way that they could remain backward. They will advance. The credit facility is provided, and without unduly bothering about the securities. Hey, you are known. You are a villager. You are a person in our living in the village. We know you. We know your competency. You know your capacity. Through your labor, through your application of mind, you will be more resourceful. You will earn your livelihood. I will grant you. The most important aspect is not a profit orientation, but service orientation. That's what I know. If I would explain, it will take more of time. Therefore, I will state one by one those main features of cooperative banking, which you're all aware. Having defined cooperative bank, the two definitions, it's an agency. Cooperative bank is an agency which deals with the common man on his own terms by subjecting whatever he has as a security to ensure the repayment, and without drawing the protection of the rich. One definition, Henry Wolff. But second definition is divine. He said it is a mutual society formed by us, governed by us, managed by us, for the purpose of encouraging savings and granting of small credit on easy terms of repayment and interest. Let us now deal with its features. I will state one by one. Namely, one, like commercial banking, cooperative banks also concerned with the performance of banking activities like acceptance of deposit and lending of funds. One, features. Two, cooperative banks are established under the Cooperative Societies Act. 3. Cooperative banks are association of persons and not association of capital as commercial banks. Commercial bank is association of capital, but whereas cooperative banks are association of persons. 3. 4. The cooperative banks raise their capital by issuing shares. This is important. Cooperative banks, though they raise their share, they raise their capital by issuing shares, accepting deposits and direct borrowings from the from outside. The own funds and borrowing from the higher form of cooperative banks, that is Central Cooperative Bank or Apex Cooperative Bank, they will formulate their working capital. In fact, in case of cooperative banks, their borrowings are linked with their own funds. You understand? Therefore, what I mean to say is that though the cooperative banks raise their capital by issuing shares, accepting deposits and borrowing from the public, borrowing from outside, the own funds and borrowing from the higher form of cooperative financial organizations constitute an important part in their working capital. The own funds and borrowing from higher strata of cooperative banks form integral part of your working capital as such. Next, cooperative banking is generally federal in structure, right? Cooperative banks based on the principle of mutual help. You help yourself, mutual help, okay? And thrift and savings is the essence of working of the thrift and savings is the essence of the working of the cooperative banks. Then personalization of the credit. We will grant the credit not on the basis of security. We are not going to unduly warranting any of your movable or immovable. We know you, therefore we will grant the credit. Personalization of the credit is given priority as far as cooperative banking lending is concerned. And in cooperative banking, purpose for which the credit is given gets greater importance. And you all know that I said the neglected areas like farmers, like a small scale, small entrepreneurs, like small industrialists, like craftsmen, like unemployed educated youth, as I said, like small vendors, they are all neglected because you feel that commercial bank or any other bank, they feel that they don't have the repayment capacity. Sorry, if you continue to think so, then they will never remain. They will remain backward. They will remain uneconomic as such. Therefore, your contribution becomes zero. You have to contribute, but you are not, because you are more worried about the its repayment. But cooperative bank, I am telling you, they are more concerned with your prosperity. We will grant you the loan. We know you, so they base. A commercial bank may not be so. Commercial bank will ensure that sufficient security to ensure the repayment. They may go for pledge, mortgage, hypothecation, etc. But here it is personalization. I know you, I work here, I know you, I know that you will repay, etc. Therefore, personalization of the credit given more priority. And Next, service not profit is the main motto of the cooperative bank. Service not profit is the main motto. And again, cooperative banking expenditure of the management becomes easy. Let me also put it, I don't say that it is more of a feature like in cooperative bank, the personnel employed therein, they are not paid wages or salary on par with the advanced, scheduled or commercial banks. It is not so. They are paid less. One, it is actually a criticism, but anyhow, who are employed there? So you are creating an employment opportunity there. Your own area, people having the requisite qualification, that qualification they are employed. So in a way you have given the job, but not of that, facility of commercial bank employees are not made available to cooperative bank. So this may uninspire the employees of the cooperative bank to compete on par with the a commercial bank. I do agree, but it is very economical as far as the management of the cooperative bank is concerned. Who manages? He or she is the chairman, secretary, vice chairman, treasurer. So many positions, office bearers management is there. They're all rendering honorary service. So actually, cooperative banks at the bottom level and at the top level depend on honorary service of its members, and that is why the management of the cooperative banks in India are very economical. It is less costly, but at the same time, it's not that efficient like that of a commercial bank management. Generally, the cost of cooperative banking is relatively lower compared to that of the commercial banks. One more thing I'll tell you. The rate of interest charged by cooperative banks, as I said earlier, rate of interest charged by cooperative banks in respect of the deposits and in respect of the loan is not at all matchable with that of the commercial bank. It is quite reverse. As I said, for deposit they will pay more, for lending they will charge less. But commercial bank, for deposit they will charge less, for lending they will charge more. This happens. That way, that's a contribution. So then their field is rural oriented. Cooperative banks are mostly rural oriented. They finance mostly to agricultural and related allied activities. And cooperative banks, the operations of the cooperative banks are generally restricted to a specified area or district or a state. That's it. Generally, the operations of the cooperative bank, they are more rural oriented. They base on service motto, and they rely on mutual help. Correct? And their operation also is restricted. Like it doesn't go beyond the state maximum. It's rural oriented, it's district oriented, or it could be state oriented. Like so, whatever generally. The cooperative bank declare only limited dividend to its members according to the Cooperative Societies Act as such, right? These are all the features, and we have now compared how commercial banking is considered to be superior to that of the cooperative banks, because commercial bank has got the capital resources in their disposal, but whereas cooperative banking not. But as far as the cooperative bank is concerned, it is more flexible than commercial bank, right? And the differences between some of the differences that we can make out between commercial banking and cooperative banking are: commercial banks is a joint stock bank organized by joint stock companies, whereas cooperative bank is a cooperative bank organized under Cooperative Societies Act. Commercial bank are association of capital, but whereas cooperative bank association of persons. Commercial banks perform their functions basing profit is the main motto, whereas cooperative banks perform their operations basing their service as the main motto. Commercial bank relies on the top skills of management. Cooperative bank relies more on mutual self-help. Correct? Commercial bank operates everywhere, especially in the urban areas, but whereas cooperative banks operates village, semi-urban or town, or maximum it can go up to state. And commercial banks are usually unitary in structure, whereas cooperative bank are federal in structure, right? Urban banks are urban oriented, you are rural oriented, all these. And one more, commercial bank carries on its operations, banking operation, through the wide network of branches throughout the country, which is not so as far as a cooperative bank is concerned. Okay, commercial bank function on the banking principle, sound principle of banking, like liquidity, safety, reliability, profitability, and social responsibility. Not so. Cooperative bank mainly function on the principle of cooperation and mutual help, honesty of members, personalization of the credit, securitization of the credit is commercial bank, personalization of the credit is the cooperative bank. And later, the volume of deposits, the volume of credit sanctioned or received or sanctioned is more in the case of commercial bank, whereas it is less in the case of a cooperative bank. The variety and the quality of banking operations are also much superior in the case of commercial banking, which may not be so. As the management of the commercial banks are carried on by skilled personnel, the cooperative banks management is carried on by unskilled persons of the same locality as such. The lending activity is motivated on profit oriented, but this is service oriented. See, like these you can keep, and one more thing is that rate of interest. The rate of interest charged by the cooperative bank for lending is higher than that of the rate of lending with the cooperative bank charges is lesser compared to that of the higher scale of commercial banks. Commercial bank charges high rate of interest for lending, less rate of interest for deposits. It is ulta, reverse, where cooperative bank charges, gives high rate of interest for deposit and charges very less. See, there are like this. As I said, the commercial banks operations are on a large scale basis, but your operations are on a small scale basis. Control of the central bank over commercial banks is total and full, but whereas control over the cooperative bank are rather less as such. Whatever rules that are applicable to the commercial banks, circulars, etc., that may not be strictly enforced for the cooperative banks as such. Commercial bank usually finance organized sectors, but cooperative bank mainly unorganized or disorganized sector. Cooperative bank is financing. So we cannot number that. The distinction between commercial bank and cooperative bank cannot be numbered that well. But one thing I will tell you. What is that? The main feature of cooperative bank, I will tell you. You will understand it very easily, and it's very interesting as well. What is that point that I would like to make? See, as far as cooperative bank is concerned, they have got wide coverage and rural orientation. Cooperative bank have got wide coverage and rural orientation, but they lack financial strength and managerial ability. Cooperative bank has got a wide coverage and a rural orientation, but they lack financial capacity, in other words, financial strength and managerial ability. But whereas commercial banks, this is the basic distinction. A cooperative bank has got wide coverage and rural orientation, but lack financial strength and managerial ability. But whereas commercial bank, look at this. On the other hand, have financial strength and managerial ability, but what happens? They have financial strength and managerial competence, but lack wide coverage and rural orientation. See, they lack wide coverage and rural orientation. Why this is explained, Cooperative bank, wide coverage, rural orientation, but lacking money and managerial skills, competence, ability. But whereas commercial bank has got a larger financial ability and managerial skills, but unfortunately their lesser coverage and lesser rural orientation, it is not helping. So to solve this, they have proposed this regional rural bank. I think that point, regional rural bank, is introduced not as a substitute to cooperative bank or commercial bank, but to resolve the crisis. You understand? Because cooperative banks are also at the urban area. At the base level, the primary credit societies could be either urban or rural. You understand? At the base level, it may be by the farmers or it may be by employed persons. It could be. So that is what I said. the difference between a commercial bank and a cooperative bank is that a commercial bank is more of rural feel, a commercial bank is more of profit feel, urban feel, whereas a cooperative bank is more of rural feel and farmer feel. This is how you have to differentiate them. And what are the main objectives of cooperative bank? I'll tell you. They are 5 in number. Quickly, I will just state one by one. One, they promote thrift among the members, thereby increases the supply of funds. 2, to gather outside sources of supply of funds, thereby it will even raise funds even from non-members. To tap outside sources for the supply of funds. 3, to promote the effective use of credit and reduce the risk of granting credit through careful and continuous supervision of the operation of the borrowing members. Yeah, you are carrying on a banking operation on a small scale level. One. Second one, you are also granting the finance to the persons on personalization basis. You know the persons, so personalization of the credit is concerned. Therefore, to promote the effective use of credit, you grant the credit to cooperative bank to persons. Persons are nothing but they are your own, in that area, and you grant them because you know them. And not only you grant them, but you are also monitoring the effective use of the credit and thereby reduce the risk in granting the credit through careful and continuous supervision of the operation of the borrowing members. It's all possible, especially in the rural village, especially in the rural sector. What you know? They borrow money for a particular purpose, but then they invest that, they apply the money for an entirely different purpose. If the bank fails to monitor and supervise, what happens? You are under the honest impression that I have given for that particular cultivation, but he did not. He has used it for improvement of the house or to purchase of silver or jewel. No, this will go unproductive. Therefore, rural cooperative bank is in a position because you are nowhere you are nowhere a stranger. You are there only. Therefore, you know whom to grant and why to grant, and not only granting but also monitoring the grant that you have made, and to ensure that granted finance will be applied for the purpose for which it is meant, and to reduce the cost of management through higher reliance on the honorary services of the members, and to keep the management at a low cost, and lastly to make the cooperative societies or cooperative banks credit worthy and to enable them raise sufficient funds to finance other cooperative enterprises. Therefore, their principles, the principle of cooperative banking are principle of cooperation and mutual help. 2, principle of service and not. 3, what are the principle of cooperative banking? Principle of cooperation and mutual help. 2, principle of service and not profit. 3, principle of thrift and savings. And 4, principle of personalization of credit. These are all the principles. As I said, principle of cooperation and mutual help, principle of service and not profit, principle of thrift and savings, and principle of personalization of credit. I said the only personalization. No, I don't mean to say only personalization, but principle of personalization. You know the person, relying on the person only you are granting the loan, like that. Okay. Therefore, if we come to the final analysis, as far as the cooperative bank is concerned, what are the merits? I'll tell you. 1, they have a rural touch. Therefore, local feel is there. Therefore, by being they have a rural touch. Therefore, they will have the knowledge of rural problems. Therefore, they can identify what best can be done, what finance can be provided, what volume of finance can be provided for ultimate growth of rural economy as such. And the cooperative banking structure in India are 3 tier, namely at the base level, it is primary credit society. It may be primary credit societies are of 2 kinds. One is that rural credit society or agricultural credit society. Agricultural credit society or rural credit society. Primary credit society at the base level are of 2 types. Agricultural or rural credit society. That's what we find in the rural areas. And in the semi-urban areas, small towns, you will find urban credit societies or urban cooperative bank. Right? Most of the primary credit societies in India are rural oriented societies or agricultural credit society. Most of the primary credit societies in India are not, see, urban credit societies, like it is formed by the retired employees, craftsmen, artisans, carpenters, weavers. They can make in the urban area. Respecting their employment, they can name like that. Okay. Employees, craftsmen, cooperative bank, like that in the urban area. But we are not talking about that. It can also, it is called urban cooperative bank. The primary credit societies are divided into two. One is rural credit cooperative society or agricultural cooperative bank. You understand? A rural credit society or agricultural credit societies in India, the number of the agricultural credit society or rural credit society are more than the urban credit society. Okay. And while explaining that, you need to write how they constitute fund, how they are managed, how they are functioned, and what is their appraisal. Let me tell you, fund is constituted as far as this is common to both all the three: rural, central, state. Fund, how they raise the fund, how they constitute the fund, because you need fund for management, for running as a bank. The fund of the primary credit society consists of entrance fee, that is membership fee, share capital, reserve fund, deposits from the members, and deposits raised from the non-members, and loans from central cooperative banks. Understand? So what is, how do you form your fund? Entrance fee, share capital, reserve fund, deposit from members, deposit from non-members, borrowings from the central cooperative bank. This borrowing from the central cooperative bank is huge. It will form a big, part of a big portion of your fund formation. Let me tell you. Anytime you are short of money, you can approach the central cooperative bank, which will grant you at a lesser rate of interest. Managed. How it is managed? The affairs of the primary credit societies are managed by honorary presidents and secretaries, assisted by the board of directors. These officers are elected from among the people of the said area as such, of the village as such. Okay, on the principle, one member, one vote. That's it. And their functions, as I said, granting of short-term, medium-term, and advances. Granting of short-term and medium-term loans and advances to the members for productive purposes. 2. Encouraging savings, encouraging thrift of savings or savings habit among the rural society, and thereby mobilize their surplus fund. Correct? You don't spend all the money. Some money you will keep in your Almirah, some money you will spend for the day, but you don't keep in my Almirah, because if you keep it in the Almirah, you will get nothing. But if you keep it in the bank, you will earn interest. Therefore, it will encourage people of the village, people of the area to save their money. It helps for capital formation. It also helps them to mobilize it helps the cooperative bank to mobilize the deposits in them, so as to administer the same. 3rd, supplying this is most important. Again, cooperative society will supply you. You see, you are agriculturist, correct? What you need? You need seeds, you need chemicals, you need fertilizers, correct? It will be supplied to you. And who will supply? He is not a street vendor. He is not a dallali. It is a cooperative bank. It is your own bank. And therefore, it will never be deceptive. It will buy genuine seeds, genuine fertilizers, etc. Farm inputs, they are supplied to you at the genuine cost. Plus not only this, you are carrying on agricultural operations. It may be paddy, it may be wheat, it may be arecanut, it may be coconut, it may be pepper, it may be anything, coffee. They will also ensure that whatever the produce that you produced, they will find marketing for that. They will send it, they will sell it and pay the money. So this sort of a facility that they are giving, and how they are carrying on their lending operation. Primary societies extend short-term, medium-term loans to the members. Loans are given only to the members who are not defaulters, and therefore who also share in the society of prescribed proportion. It is said, okay, and usually at a lesser rate of interest, because loans warranted by you, not for any unproductive purpose, but for agricultural operations. And if you look at the appraisal, I will tell you later, appraisal wise. And then Central Cooperative Bank, their fund, once again I said, Central Cooperative Bank fund is constituted by share capital, reserve fund, deposits from members, non-members, loans and advances taken from the state cooperative bank. Everything else same. But for primary credit society, I told you no. Apart from what is that entrance fee, reserve capital, what is that? Reserve fund, deposit from members, deposit from non-members, and borrowings from Central Cooperative Bank. What is for Central Cooperative Bank or District Cooperative Bank? Everything same, plus the borrowings taken from State Cooperative Bank. The fund is thereby constituted. And they are managed by whom? As I said, pure Central Cooperative Bank or mixed cooperative bank. In Karnataka, we find mixed cooperative bank. What do you mean by mixed cooperative bank? It may include even non-members. It need not be. The membership of the Central Cooperative Bank is not limited to Central Cooperative Bank only. Even outsiders could be the members, as we find in Karnataka. Fund is constituted. How it is managed? The Central Cooperative Banks are managed by Board of Directors, constituted by the representatives of the constituent primary credit societies, a democratic setup. In the district, how many are there? Primary credit societies. They elect their members to be there in the Central Cooperative Bank and elect them as directors. You understand? So this is way that Board of Directors constituted by the representatives of the respective districts primary credit societies, and this Board of Directors will manage the same functions. The main function is to lend primary credit societies. The main function of the Central Cooperative Bank is to lend to primary credit societies. They provide short-term and medium-term loans. They make available to the primary credit societies whatever their finance needs to enable them to extend credit to the farmers. Okay. They also play vital role in rural finance. Right? And second one, as the primary credit societies cannot have direct dealings with one another. My village primary credit society cannot deal with other village primary societies. In which case, to coordinate between one primary credit society with the other or others, this Central Cooperative Bank will act, or District Cooperative Bank will act as a balancing center, a link. Okay, then there is loans and advances from the cooperative banks and lend the same to primary societies, primary credit societies. So therefore they act as a link between State Cooperative Bank and primary credit cooperative banks. They supervise and guide the affiliated rural credit societies. They promote savings habit among the people and thereby raise deposits from the members and non-members. Besides the above functions, they also carry on ordinary commercial banking functions such as acceptance of all type of deposits, safe lockers, public utility services, and advancing loans, overdraft, lending, advances, then discounting of bills, purchase of securities, all that they perform. An ordinary commercial bank, a commercial bank, what all ordinary functions they carry on, even carried on by the cooperative banks. Okay, then state cooperative banks. How state cooperative bank is constituted? The state cooperative banks are managed by Board of Management, constituted by representatives of Central Cooperative Bank. The state cooperative bank at the cooperative bank at the apex level of the state, not beyond. There is no national cooperative bank. Name may be there, national cooperative bank, but it is a name of a state. Name of a bank in the state. That's it. State cooperative bank is managed by Board of Directors who are members. Who are elected by representatives of the Central Cooperative or District Cooperative Bank. Okay, and the individual shareholders. Right. Majority of the representation to the State Cooperative Bank are from Central Cooperative Bank or District Cooperative Bank. How do they raise their fund? As I said, entrance fee, reserve fund, deposit raised from the members, deposit raised from non-members. Then the final one, that they also raise the funds like funds from NABARD, Reserve Bank of India, state government, commercial bank, they may raise. You understand? The share capital, the fund of the State Cooperative Bank is constituted from among the following: share capital, reserve fund, deposit from members and non-members, local authorities, deposit from the local, deposit from the local authorities and general public, as I said, and loan from RBI, commercial banks, and state government, etc. However, loans and advances from the RBI constitute the major portion of funds to state cooperative bank. Correct? You know, for primary credit society, borrowings from the central cooperative bank is a major portion. For a district cooperative bank or central cooperative bank, borrowings from the state cooperative bank is major portion. For a state cooperative bank, borrowings from the Reserve Bank of India forms a major portion of their fund. Okay. Functions, as I said, the function of a state cooperative bank are to the main function of the state cooperative bank is to lend funds to the central cooperative bank, which in turn will lend it to, advance it to primary credit societies. 2. They serve as a balancing center between the state cooperative bank will serve as a balancing center between central cooperative banks. Don't say between central cooperative bank and primary cooperative societies. No, between primary credit cooperative societies, central cooperative bank will act as a link or balancing center. Between central cooperative banks, state cooperative bank will act as a balancing center. Okay, they attract the surplus funds of one central cooperative bank and make it available to the other needy cooperative bank, central cooperative bank. They borrow from the Reserve Bank of India and lend the same to the central cooperative bank, which in turn will finance it to, I said, the state cooperative bank will borrow funds from RBI, which in turn will lend to, advance it to a central cooperative bank, which in turn will supply to primary credit societies. Then therefore they coordinate the activities of different central cooperative bank. They accept deposit from general public and thus they help to transfer the funds from urban area to the rural areas. They accept deposits from the general public in the urban areas and make them available to rural areas, okay, for rural credit. State cooperative bank okay, and they guide, advise, exercise general supervision and control over central cooperative bank. They guide, they advise, they exercise the general control over the district level cooperative bank, okay. In other words, central cooperative bank. Next, they act as a link between money market and cooperatives. Who act? Money market is commercial, and this will act as the state cooperative bank or the state FX cooperative bank will act as a link between money market and cooperatives. Okay, they help not only cooperative credit institutions but also promote other cooperative societies and thereby promote cooperative movement in general. Now, what we are expected to see, how it is grown, cooperative society. Okay, their growth is like this. Cooperative bank in India, there are about 1,544 urban cooperative bank. As I said, the primary credit societies at the base level are divided into two, namely primary cooperative bank or rural cooperative bank or agricultural cooperative bank and urban cooperative bank. But urban cooperative bank in India, total population, total number of the urban cooperative banks in India are 1,544, whereas rural cooperative banks in India are 96,248. 96,248 are the number of rural cooperative bank as against 1,544 urban cooperative bank. 1. There are 525 district cooperative banks in India. There are 31 state cooperative banks in India. Right? These are all the the statistics that will enable you to see the growth. Remember, there are 31 state cooperative banks, but how many branches they have? For example, in our own state, we have our Karnataka State Cooperative Bank. It has got branches. It has got branches. Its head office situated in Karnataka, though it carries on its functions through network branches as such. Right? Now we will move to the next one is that regional cooperative banks. What is that regional cooperative bank? Regional rural bank rather. What is that regional rural bank? What do you mean by regional rural bank? Regional rural bank, as I said, the main reason for introduction of a regional rural bank is the following. One, regional rural bank is established to meet the lacuna that existed in the functioning of cooperative bank and commercial bank. How you know? Cooperative bank have got wide coverage of the rural area, okay, and also in a rural field. Commercial bank, cooperative bank have got wide network, what it is called. They have got a wide coverage and rural orientation. Cooperative banks, that's good, but they lack capital resources and even the managerial ability. Rural bank, cooperative bank, but the other one, commercial bank, they lack wide coverage and local rural orientation. But they have strong financial ability and managerial ability. What do they use? Cooperative bank will remain there. Commercial bank neglect there to go there to the rural area. To small towns or rural area, commercial banks will not go because it is of no use. It will be of no profit. It will be less economical and more expensive. But cooperative bank could not go elsewhere. Cooperative bank could not compete with the commercial bank. Reason, it lacked the capital resources. Okay, it lacked the capital resources and also the managerial. The financial strength is not there to compete with the commercial bank. With the cooperative bank, financial strength is not there, managerial ability not there. So you have to fill the gap. One is having wide coverage and rural orientation. Another one is having greater financial strength and managerial ability. How? You have to blend both these features. See, one, I said, a commercial bank is doing good financially and managerially, but their coverage is not that good like a cooperative bank. Cooperative bank coverage is good but lacking financial strength and managerial ability. So the plus features, the positive features of both, it means you have to have wide coverage, you have to have rural orientation, you have to have financial ability, you have to have managerial ability. All these four features should be present. Shall we do one thing? We find one is there, the other one is not there in commercial bank. We find in cooperative bank, other one is there, one is not there in the cooperative bank. Why? We want the blend of both the commercial bank and cooperative bank features. That means we want to have a bank with the financial strength, also the rural orientation. Accordingly, so as to promote the rural finance, so as to promote the rural credit, so as to promote the rural development, as India is a country substantially backed up by agriculture. India is a country almost 70% of its area are rural areas, and these rural areas should be given priority by extending finance, rural finance, and accordingly by blending both the features, cooperative features like good coverage and rural orientation, and commercial bank features like financial ability and managerial skills. Blend those and formulate one new bank. It is one of the 20-point economic program agenda of the then government, and accordingly an ordinance was passed, Rural Bank Ordinance Act 1975, which was replaced later by Rural Bank Act, Regional Rural Bank Act 1976. And as per the Regional Rural Bank Act 1976, regional rural banks, first 5 regional rural banks were established in the year 1975. Okay. And those 5 regional rural banks established in almost in the north region. Okay, I will get you where exactly the first 5 regional rural banks were established, namely in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, and Rajasthan. These are the 5 states where initially they established regional rural bank. I said regional rural bank is established to provide a rural credit by blending both features of a commercial bank as well as a cooperative bank. Therefore, the objectives of regional rural bank are to provide cheap credit facility to small and marginal farmers, landless laborers, artisans, small entrepreneurs engaged in productive activities, correct? To provide cheap credit and other facilities to small and marginal farmers, landless laborers, artisans, small entrepreneurs, to develop rural economy of the country by providing liberal finance assistance to agriculture, trade, commerce. Yeah, what is that? To develop a rural economy of the country by providing cheap credit facility to agriculture, trade, commerce, industries and other productive enterprises in the rural areas. Remember, to productive cheap, to render, to develop rural economy by extending cheap credit facility to agriculture, trade, commerce, industry in the rural areas. Okay. 3. To include, rather to inculcate banking habit among the people and thereby mobilize their savings for accelerating, for promoting economic growth of for promoting rural economy. You understand? To encourage people, to encourage the rural people to go for banking habits, to inculcate the banking habits in the rural area with the rural people, thereby accelerate their savings, which would help the rural economy progress better. Then next, to provide employment to educated youth in the rural areas. Definitely, when the regional rural bank is established, right, where they invest money in the rural area for various reasons, industry, small scale level, and thus it will create employment opportunities, and employment to the rural people could be given, development to bring down the cost of rural banking. These are the objectives, and how it is constituted. The share capital. Usually, it will be like this. A proposal, regional rural bank. As I said, what is regional rural bank? It is a blend of the features of both a commercial bank as well as a cooperative bank. You understand? Rural feel and financial ability, both blended. That's good. So, regional rural bank, how it is formed? It is like this. The sponsor bank, whoever nationalized or scheduled bank, as I told you just while explaining about a commercial bank, lead bank scheme, you take the lead in promoting rural economy. You take the lead, and by taking that, say for example, you are a syndicate bank, you are a corporation bank, you are a Vijay bank, you are a Bank of Baroda, you are a state bank, you are a syndicate. Various banks you have got. Hey, it is your social responsibility as well. Why do you only concentrate more on urban areas? Carry on your banking activities even in the rural areas. No. It is not economical. It is very, very expensive. No. You should not be always commercial or profit minded. You should be service minded too. How? You do one thing. We will also support. The state government, central government will also support. But you should sponsor. It is not adoption like you should sponsor. You go there, carry on banking operations in the rural area. You understand? You go there and carry on banking operation in the rural area. It will be very helpful to your own people. You understand? It will be helpful to promote, to uplift, to raise to the next pedestal, to raise the rural economy. How is it possible? Yes, you come out with a proposal. You need to sponsor. We can call Kaveri Gramina Abhiruddhi Bank, Pragati Gramina Abhiruddhi Bank, something like that. It is a regional rural bank, sponsored and managed, supervised by scheduled commercial banks. Understand? Yes. You have got the capacity, financial capacity, because you are a scheduled bank, you are a nationalized bank, and you will never face a short of money. Your credit richness is so wide that you can afford to even do some service. It is not profit oriented. So therefore, this kind of a sense of obligation, a social obligation, a social responsibility is inflicted into the minds of commercial banks. Hey, commercial bank, don't be too commercial by concentrating your operations in the urban or semi-urban area, city, town, etc. Go there and serve also. Now it has become a social responsibility, CSR. Therefore, Regional Rural Bank, as a result of the Statute of Regional Rural Bank Act 1976, now it is compulsory. And the proportion is like this. What is that? The government of India, central government will what is that? The share capital of a regional rural bank was initially required. The share capital of the regional rural bank is formed in this pattern. How? In what pattern? See, the share capital of the regional rural bank is formulated in this proportion. The government of India will contribute 50%. Government of India will contribute 50%. The state government will contribute 15%, and the sponsoring bank will be 35%. But now, in the initial stage, when the act was passed, the central government would contribute to the share capital of the regional rural bank, any share capital of the regional bank. Its share capital is 1 crore. You understand? The authorized capital is 1 crore. Each regional rural bank was required to have an authorized capital of 1 crore and issued and paid up capital of 25 lakhs. Later, the authorized capital has been increased to 5 crores and issued capital has been increased to 1 crore. Right now, what is existing? The authorized share capital is 5 crore and issued share capital or paid up share capital is not 25 lakhs, it is 1 crore. And this 5 crore of authorized share capital or issued capital of 1 crore, how it is formulated, with what share? Initially it was 50 central government, 15 sponsoring bank, 35, sponsoring bank 35% and 15% state government. But now it is changed, 60, 20, 20. 60% of that will have to be shared by the central government, 20 each by the sponsoring bank as well as the state government. So you got to know how the share capital of the regional rural bank is formed, right? And what are its objectives also we have seen: to provide cheap credit, to develop rural economy, to inculcate banking habit, to provide employment to educated youth, and to bring down the cost of rural banking. And its management is rather it is a proposal to formulate regional rural bank should be sent by the sponsoring bank to the government, because it's an initiative of a CSR also. Every bank will have social responsibility. You don't corner only cities, you go also serve the society there by promoting the rural economy. Therefore, a sponsor bank, which usually a public sector commercial bank, by sending a request to the central government for permission to start regional rural bank. On receiving the request from the sponsoring bank, the central government, with the consultation of the concerned state government and the sponsoring bank, sets up a regional rural bank by notification in the official gazette. Understand? As per the Regional Rural Bank Act, it's the obligation, social responsibility on the part of the sponsoring bank. It will send a request to establish a regional rural bank in the region to the central government, which in consultation with the state government and the sponsoring bank will notify in the official gazette for the establishment of for setting up of a regional rural bank. Like that, the regional rural bank would be established. Remember, 60% of the share capital central government, 20 each percent of the share capital by the state government and sponsoring bank. The funds or financial resources of the regional rural bank are share capital, as I said, deposits from the public, borrowings from the sponsoring bank, and refinance from the NABARD. Remember, if borrowings from the regional rural bank is a child of a scheduled commercial bank. Though you have got the share capital of authorized of 5 crores and paid up of 1 crore, or deposit from the public, like you are carrying on banking activity, but you will never ever be short of money. Reason, you are sponsored by a scheduled commercial bank. As such, the refinancing facility from the, rather borrowing from your own sponsoring bank is very much there. That is the strength of your, and the refinance from NABARD is also there. Okay, and moreover, they pay loan, they give loan at a lesser rate, and they give more interest rate to deposits than other banks. That's the advantage. Management of regional rural bank. How it is managed? A regional rural bank is managed by a board of directors consisting of 9 members. Okay, a regional rural bank is managed by its general superintendents, its direction, its management of affair is run by. Regional rural bank is being managed, supervised and controlled by a board of directors consisting of 9 members. one is chairman and 8 other directors. The chairman of the board of directors usually appointed by the sponsoring bank in consultation with the central government. You understand? This regional rural bank, how it is managed, I am telling you. Its management, supervision and the direction. They are done by a board of directors consisting of 9 members. One will be chairman and other will be the directors. The chairman will be appointed by the sponsoring bank in consultation with the central government, and remaining 8 directors are appointed. 3 directors are nominated by the central government, 3 directors are nominated by the sponsor bank, and 2 directors are nominated by the state government. So this way you will find a regional rural bank will be managed by a board of directors consisting of 1 chairman plus 8 directors. Chairman is appointed by the sponsoring bank in consultation with the central government. The other 8 directors are appointed from in this pattern. 3 to be nominated by the CG, 2 to be nominated by the SG, and SG means state government, and 3 to be nominated by the sponsoring bank. Okay, right. Business operations, as you see, it is similar to that of cooperative bank, but you will never find short of money for carrying out your, and as I said, objectives. What are the objectives? Again I repeat, the objectives of rural bank is to provide cheap credit facility to small marginal farmer, landless laborers, artisans, small entrepreneurs, etc. To develop the rural economy by providing liberal financial assistance to agriculture, trade, commerce in the said rural area. To promote thrift of savings among the people and thereby mobilize the savings for accelerating the economic growth of the rural area, and then to provide employment opportunities to the rural youth and to bring down the cost of to bring down the cost of rural banking. Correct? These are the 5 business operations. As I said, they will give they will give you the credit facility for what all activities. As I said, they will give credit facility for self-employment. They will give credit facility for farm, agriculture. They will give credit facility for setting up your own business, trade, industry, etc. That's what it, but not outsiders, but within the said. So you are specifically gone there to promote the rural economy. Therefore, this sense of social responsibility on the commercial banks, they will establish in consultation with the concurrence of central government and state government, and it is also part of their obligation under the regional rural bank and CSR. They will go and sponsor regional rural bank, which will have the features of both the cooperative bank as well as a commercial bank. Okay. Now, lastly, we need to. I think problems of regional rural bank. They are thickly populated. Some area, their managerial. Still the personnel employed in the regional rural bank still not on par with the commercial bank, and economically they were not viable as per the report coming in. Anyhow. Problems may be there, but their growth, if we look at the growth of regional rural bank, I will tell you, as on 31st March 2019, the growth of regional rural bank, there are about 56 regional rural banks that have been incepted by the sponsoring bank according to the procedure as contained in the Regional Rural Bank Act 1976. You understand? 56 regional rural banks are there in India with the total branches of 14,494. Covering 525 districts. I hope you understood that. It's appraisal, I am telling you, it's growth. 56 RRBs are there in India with a total of 14,494 branches spread over to 525 as against 668 districts of the country. Right? This is what regional rural bank. But let me also tell you that regional rural banks in India are able to create some sort of influence to promote rural economy. That is very much there, and today we are in a difficult position to distinguish whether it is rural area or urban area, because banking has gone to almost all the areas, and the regional rural bank is also taken its shape to some level that we are able to identify its contributions. Okay, right. In the next clip I am going to deal with The unit 2, that is, besides this, I did not quote for providing the long-term finance. For providing long-term finance, we have got a primary land development bank and a central land development bank to provide long-term finance. That is over and above 7 years we have got in India, and its growth is also good. Okay.